Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for an experience like no other. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for The Mary D. Show, where the ordinary meets the extraordinary. The Mary D. Show brings you powerful insights and inspiring stories from a diverse range of guests. Join our incredible host, Mary D. Welch, as she sits down with thought leaders, business owners, and changemakers, sharing their journeys and successes. From career professionals and entrepreneurs to educators and beauty advisors, Mary D. Welch interviews sports figures and health enthusiasts, offering a platform for extraordinary voices. Explore the world of extraordinary people and places in business and finance, homes and real estate, beauty and wellness, education and empowerment, sports and health, and more. Want to be a guest on the show? Call 619-669-8603 or email Mary at marydwelch.com. Visit www.marydwelch.com to learn more.
Hello, everybody. We are having a little bit of technical difficulties. Not a lot, but just a little bit. I'd like to welcome you to the Mary D. Show. Here we are on another beautiful Monday. What can I say? Mondays are just, to me, that's just the beginning. It's the beginning of the week. It's actually Sunday. Sunday is the first day of the week. I did not know that for years. I thought the first day of the week was Monday, but it's really Sunday. So this is really the second day of the week. Isn't that something? When I learned that, I thought, why our whole life you thought that Monday was the first day? But anyway, you learn something new every day. So welcome. I'd like to welcome to our live viewers. Hi, live viewers. Welcome to our replay viewers. Hi, replay viewers. And welcome to our executive producer of the show, Oliver Welch. Hi, babe. He's back there. Those of you know Oliver's in the background. He's always making sure we have a good show, making sure everything is running correctly. All that fun stuff. That's what Oliver's doing. So just know we are so excited about having you here because we have a show. We are really, let me say this. We are just excited. It's a different show because we don't have today, normally we have a guest. We don't have a guest. But I mean, we do. I shouldn't say that. We do. But I didn't get a chance to advertise the guest to you. And that's the difference. And I normally do. Oh, hold on. But that makes a difference. It makes a difference to me. But anyway, hold on. Okay, let me see. Let's see. There we go. But I just wanted all of you. I'm sitting here going, this is different. This is different. I wanted to share with you. We are actually our special guest today. She'll be on momentarily. But I want to, I see, listen, before we get started, I see our beautiful niece from Atlanta, Georgia, hailing from Atlanta, Georgia. Her name is Jazzy. Let me put, Jazzy says, hi, sweet auntie. Oh, hi, precious. And then she says, hi, Uncle Oliver. Thank you, Jazzy. Jazzy is a super fan. And she comes, and I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, not only does she come on the show, Jazzy checks on us. She checks on us. This is the love that we have for our nieces and nephews. She calls and makes sure we're okay. And you know how the young people don't always do that kind of thing anymore and check on people. Jazzy does. Jazzy calls us and it's like, how are you guys? Are you okay? Is everything going okay? And I'm like, that is so sweet of her. It really is. And she does it. So I can tell you right now, it means a lot to have Jazzy, to have her in our life. It's so precious. Just know that. But we're going to talk about a couple of things I'm really excited about. One, for sure, is about travel. We're going to talk about travel because many of you may or may not know, I'm a travel agent. I don't talk about it that much. I guess I don't talk about it because it's like who really wants to hear all this? People go, is there anything you don't do? I hear that a lot. What don't you do? And I say, it's a lot of stuff I don't do. But they're like, but you write books. I do. Well, number one, a retired teacher. Hold on. And which is true, retired educator, teacher, educator, been involved in the schools, in the school district, retired from that, mom, wife, mother, grandmother, not a great grand, not a GG yet, just grandmother. That's one. And just really love life, love my community. I try to be there for the community as much as I can be. I'm saying that because now I'm starting to come to terms with, I think, as they say, being stretched too thin, but I just love all of the different activities and the organizations, all of those things, which is all good. But I'm trying to balance it out. Let me say that. But one thing we do, which we haven't done a lot, we've done a lot in previous years. This year, no, we really have. This year, we're going to go somewhere soon, but we haven't. This year, we just haven't traveled a lot. But now we're getting back into the traveling mode. As you can see, I put on the screen welchtraveltours.com. For those of you that if you're looking for travel deals, and I would say steals and deals, please, all I ask you to do is compare our site. That's it. I never say we are the cheapest or the low. I never say that because I don't know. And it depends on where you're going. It depends on when you're going. All of these variables are involved. But the point is just compare. That's all we ask. And if it's a lower one, that you book there. If it's not, because everybody compares. Who goes to one site and books? I went to it was three different sites one time. Do you know I was able to save $300? $300 by just going to another site. So everybody compares. I think that's just the way of life now. If we just look at one site, no, that's not going to happen. We're going to take another look. So, but I still continue to write. Haven't stopped doing that. The book is one of the books that's coming out. Just have to do just one little tweak on it, and that would be it. Oh, I see Jeffrey. Jeffrey, you are too much. Thank you. Hi, Jeffrey. Jeffrey said, he's sending all these hearts. He goes, love you, Mary. You're amazing. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. And we just hang in here, ladies and gentlemen, hang one day at a time. But I wanted to share with you about the travel because it is something I've been involved with for about, probably like 15 years, at least that long. But I just hadn't shared it with the audience. I can't tell you why. I think because people like, you do too much stuff, and that's kind of like I kind of backed away. Like it or not, we may not act like we care what people think, but we do. Who doesn't care what people think? I think everybody does, whether we want to admit it or not. And I say that because I know there was a picture of, what's the man's name that owns not Google, Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg. There was a picture of Mr. Zuckerberg, and his face was looking all sad. And I thought, think about this. He is sad because of the things people are saying about him. Now, the man is worth probably trillions, not even billions, probably trillions of dollars. But he still cares about what people think about him. So money is not like, okay, he has more money than anybody ever spent in his lifetime. But he still cares. He still wants people to like him. He still wants people to respect him, no matter how much he has. So that goes for all of us. We want that. We want respect. We want to be liked. Who doesn't? So just keep that in mind as we go, I said, go along in life, I guess you could say. And I want to thank you to all of you that are on the email list, that all of you that are on the text list, and those of you that are not, you can send an email to Mary at Mary D. Welch, Mary at marydwelch.com, and you can be added to the email or text list or both. Those of you on both, You got a text this week. You got those of you on the email. I email more than I text. I email like 3 times a week, at least that. Text, I text about once a week. That's what I try to do, to let you know what's going on. It could be something in the community. The emails let you know a lot about what's going on in the community. It really does. The text is not as complete, in my opinion. I think if I were to choose one, I would be on the email list. That's when you get the most information. I sent out an email. I haven't sent it out yet. I did send one out about what happened with the Voting Rights Act. For those of you that read that one, that went out a few days ago, and I'm going to send another one. This is historical, and he was the first African American that he left Congress, and it would be almost 30 years later before another African American was even elected to Congress. And he gives a farewell speech, and his name is George H. White, or George Henry White. I'm going to send you information about him. So all of that is coming. It will be out soon. I'm actually, and like I said, I'm going to say it again. So let me do this. I'll put it in the chat so you guys can see it. So Mary at marydwelch.com. And the reason for that, there you go. Let me see what I'm put up. Okay, here we go. Okay. Oh, there you go. So that's how you can always send emails there, but you'll be added to the email list and the text list. So the goal, so we're on the same page. The goal is 1 million on the email list, 1 million on the text list. Wow. Every time I think about that, because at first my goal was 100,000. And then someone told me, they said, that's not a big enough goal. That actually said, they said that to me. They're like, that's not big enough. I said, you're kidding. They're like, no, you need a bigger goal. And so that's what made me go to 1 million. Not quite there. The text list has 5,500. The email list, 10,000. So got a ways to go, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm good with that. I'm just glad that we have this technology to be able to do these things. So I want to say Oliver says something. Oliver, let me put Oliver's comment up. He says, hi, live viewers. Welcome to the show, and thank you for your support. Thanks, babe. He's in the background. So just know. Now, and she just popped in. And I want to share with you. Let me put that back up, too. So those of you that would like to get in contact with me, and this could be for if you want to be a guest on the show, if you want me to speak at different events, all these have happened. Share the book signings. There's just so many different things that are going on. But I've learned we just try to keep a calendar and know what's going on and when it's going on. That's really what it amounts to. But you can do all of that there. So we have this guest that's not only a guest, but she's a friend. She is a friend. Her name is Ambassador Coach Arlen Thompson. This lady has taken this business by storm, and the business is travel. So I'm going to bring her to the stage and let her introduce you to her. But she's a wonderful, wonderful woman. And there she is.
Hi. Hey, Mary. Well, greetings, everyone that's out there. And again, I'll tell you, I'm terribly excited about being on with you today. And excuse me, Mary, we've known each other longer than I care to mention right now. But just know that it's been a long journey. And for us to be able to be partners in business as we are is absolutely phenomenal. So I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be on today and speak about something that I am so passionate about. And that's the world of travel, because we know what's going on right now. And we have the opportunity to be able to tap into it. Right, Mary?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. And one of the things I know, having known you and your husband, Oliver, being from Panama, and you all being able to be those global travelers also, what you've been able to do is mix it with your authorship, with your book writing, to expand that. I know you were talking about Alaska and how you felt about that, and then have an opportunity to be able to travel the world, but incorporate that in everything that you're doing moving forward. So I think everybody can benefit from what you're talking about today and the subject of creating your own economy. I think
Yes.
that's something that's very relevant today. Wouldn't you say so?
I definitely agree, without a doubt. We
Yes.
time this is the time to go forward, not to pull back. This is the time. And travel, people are still traveling. People, they haven't stopped traveling. So just I don't care. You can go ask friends and family. They're still getting on those planes. They have never stopped. They're still traveling all around the world. Travel continues to be one of the areas that I think, without a doubt, I don't think they'll ever stop because you have families they want to see, graduations, weddings, all of these things are still going on. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we know that we're nearing graduation right now, right? So people are going to be flying to, greet their loved ones as they graduate. And one thing they want to do, those graduation gifts might be to Jamaica, or, for them to be able to, start looking at colleges that they're going to. And it really involves travel. And even though we know that every airport is full, every plane is full. We took the train to Santa Barbara. The train was full. So there's so many things.
Whoops. Hold on. Oh, we got frozen. Oh, but I'm sure it'll unfreeze, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to wait just a moment. And what Ambassador Coach Arlen's telling us is that travel is one of the areas that no matter what you do in life, most people are going to travel somewhere. It could be on a cruise, it could be by plane. And those of you that say, "Oh, I don't travel," that's very rare. But even if you travel by train, that's another way you can travel. Oh, here we go. And we're gonna bring Coach Arlen back in. We'll take this one down and bring
As
it
I'm on
in.
my cell phone today, because
That's
I
okay.
couldn't get in. But just real quickly, as we are talking, I just want to express how for the last 21 years, through this industry, I've been able to live life residually, and I don't take that lightly, because one of the things that's so amazing, to be able to fund not only my retirement years, but in addition to that, helping so many others be able to do it. And as we know, over 17,000 people lost their jobs just with Spirit Airlines going out of business. But guess what? They were able to recoup. The pilots were scooped up. The flight attendants were scooped up, because the industry is so large that they were able to transition into other airlines and to be able to do it. So some of those dollars can come in people's pocket, because if you're traveling and you're not able to be able to get paid to do so, I would say, hey, this is a time like none other. When we talk about creating your own economy, I want you to think about the wealth principles that will allow you to be able to do so. Number one is you need a business because of the tax advantages of business ownership. So why not take a paycation as opposed to a vacation? Have the opportunity to share with your clients the wonderful ports of call that you're traveling to. And then the second thing, Mary, as well as I do, I worked 30 plus years and retired on a fixed income. And that doesn't mean you didn't have any money. It just means that the income was fixed based on your retirement benefit program, and inflation continues to go up. So we have to ask ourselves, whose time, skill, education, knowledge are we leveraging? And then the third one talks about residual income. When you stop working, are you going to continue to get paid? Well, I have a live list that's so long, I don't call it a bucket list, but this live list is so long that, I've already traveled the world. I've already had the opportunity to step foot on these continents, but there's some places I want to go. And this company will allow us to be able to do that with Surge 365, because of the fact that whether it's a concert, whether it's a cruise, whether it's an opportunity to go by rail or go to wine country. Just imagine being able to do that and do it as an insider. So I'm really excited about what's going on with the industry, and really excited for you, Mary, because I know when you create multiple streams of income,
Right.
and you do it with the largest industry on the planet, it makes a difference, doesn't it?
It does make a difference, and it's
Yes.
fun. That's what I really like about
Oh my
it.
God. Oh, when we talk about
It is
fun, well, you know what? My claim to
good.
fame was while I was in Rio de Janeiro, I hang glided off the tallest mountain. And I remember, Mary, I was crying when I was up there. I was like, I don't want to do it. I was afraid. We were with a team and they were all jumping off the mountain and I was kind of backing up a little bit. But when the guy said, run, don't jump, and we glided in the air. I just remember the first thing that I said, thank you, God, for letting me know what it feels like to fly like a bird. And it was one
Yeah.
of the greatest experiences that I had. And to fly over the ocean without a plane, you're on the back of a kite and you're trusting the person that's doing it for you, it really makes a difference. So I may be a bit of a daredevil, but you might be that person that wants to be in the suite on a cruise and be served or stay at a 5-star hotel and not rough it. But this is what the industry will provide for you. And when we think about it, $500, $499 to be able to have the opportunity to be an insider. And when
Yes.
you think about having the
And you
ability to tap in to the $10 trillion industry, 10
and you
trillion,
one
that's
that's all
amazing.
they'll never pay that again. Just only one time do they pay that. Think about
One
that.
time and never no annual renewal. And this was so
Yeah,
great. And
I
when you
know.
think about the operation cost of the business, it's about $6 a day. So when we talk about $6 a day, that's 99.95 a month. But you
Yeah.
have the opportunity that if you refer three, you don't have to pay that anymore. So
Right.
now you have a business that would allow you to be able to now travel as an insider, have
Right.
all the perks and benefits. If
Right.
somebody needs a passport, they can get it from you. If
Yeah.
somebody wants a ticket to see Usher and what's his name?
Bruno
I
Mars.
forgot the guy's name.
Bruno Mars.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking. Chris Brown. Yeah. So you have the opportunity. You can sell those tickets, and no matter what it is, you'll
Right.
have access to it. You know what, Mary? I think the other thing that I'm really proud of is the fact that the website converts into over 22 different languages. And
Wow.
so you're able to do this globally. So when you look at the fact that not only can you do it globally, it's in
Mhm.
English, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, French,
Right.
Mandarin, and it accepts international currency, and it comes with a concierge. So we just do things first class. A concierge you have access to assist you in your business. So I know that you're excited, Mary, because you've had the opportunity to help so many people who are traveling better for less now. So
Right.
I know you and Oliver are ready for your next trip, right?
We are. We're actually going on a cruise in a few weeks. In a few
Wow.
weeks, we'll be on a cruise. I think that's I love cruises, but that's not the only way to travel, ladies and gentlemen. We actually went to South America together. We're in Brazil together. And remember, because Oliver got stuck in the elevator. No,
I know.
well,
Well,
really stuck in the elevator. But all of those things, when you have those kind of experiences, to me, that's what makes a trip interesting. And it makes it unforgettable. It doesn't have to always go smoothly. It just makes it something you'll never just these are life experiences that you get to
yeah.
together. So yes.
Yeah, yeah. And Brazil was very interesting because not only did we go where Michael Jackson filmed They Don't Care About Me in the square, we were able to do the native martial arts and all of the museums that were in the square where and in the village. It was just an amazing, amazing trip. So I like it because when you think about a piece of history,
Mhm. Oh, we got Chief. Okay, we're gonna go to our. I know she'll be back. That was Jazzy said totally, and Nanette. Hi, Nanette. It's always good to see you too. And then Jazzy, you said, and I'm sure Ambassador Coach Allen will be back. It's always good to travel, and when you are free and to go once out and to see what's in life, you're right, Jazzy. It is nothing like traveling. It is nothing like it. And I would tell anybody, if you've never been on a trip before, ladies and gentlemen, you want to go. You got to, if you've never, especially if you've never been on a cruise before, you got to do a cruise. You meet new people and try new things. Definitely. Definitely. So we're going to, I know she'll be back. I'm sure she will. So let me put this up, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't, you saw the number. No, I put the email. I'm sorry. Here we go. You can send me an email if you lately, I don't know what's going on. People have been booking cruises. They have been booking trips. They've been going to Africa. Africa is really big. Ghana especially. There's definitely a move to back to Ghana. I don't know what it is, but you can send me your information and Wealth Travel Tours can make it happen. But keep in mind too, please go online and compare our prices. When they ask you to sign your information in, your password, you can use your cell phone. Just use your cell phone number. That way you'll never forget it. Just put your password in as a cell phone number. Compare. Just take a look and see, is this something you might want to do or get interested in? You can get your car rental. You can get your cruises. You can get all of this from there, from just going on the site. You'll see on Wells Travel Tour. So you get to see what we see every single day. But one thing for sure, for the most part, you shouldn't be. I'm not saying you will. It's 85 to 90% of the time, not lower, but 85 to 90% of the time, you're going to find that Welch Travel Tours should beat out the big boys. But like anything else, it's not 100%. I don't want to tell you that it's 100% because it isn't. But you'll see. Just go to Welch Travel Tours and go on and sign up and go from there, ladies and gentlemen. And here we are. This is, what's this, Jazzy? Okay, Jazzy, totally. Okay, and I think Ambassador Coach, she has to get on another, I think it was, she had to go into another podcast. So she may or may not be able to come back. I know we just happened to catch her for a few minutes, but keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to introduce that to you. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on politically, because I just wanted to, hold on, I didn't want to ignore that either, because we have just experienced recently, and I'm changing gears right now, just so everybody's clear what's going on. Though don't get me wrong, I want you to go to travel. That goes without saying. But I also want to share with you too that for us, for this country, what we've experienced recently with the ruling from the Supreme Court, how is that affecting? And it could be, many people say, well, I don't see the effects of it right away. And normally you don't. When these kind of things happen, it's not like immediate that you see what has happened with that ruling, but it'll be as we go through. We have elections coming up. That's when you'll start seeing it. That's when it'll make sense to you. But I wanted to kind of go over some things with you of what that ruling really meant. It's changes to litigation and standards. It alters how the courts evaluate voter discrimination and intent. And it claims and affects burdens of proof and necessary evidence. So now you're going to have to prove that people are trying to keep you from voting based on race. So you have to prove it. You can't just say we have this block of people that we're trying to discriminate against based on race. There has to be proof to that effect. Redistricting impact. It can require states to redraw maps or allow previously challenged maps to stand, affecting minority representation. And what that means is that many of the maps were drawn to eliminate or reduce the fact that minorities vote in, they tend to vote in, it could be in for the same representation. So that could reduce the representation of in Congress. And right now, I don't know the numbers of members of Congress that are African American, but the numbers are at this point today, I think they're higher than they've ever been. But that is what all of this, what we're looking at, is trying to change. It will, how do you enforce shifts? Just a minute, let me check back and see if she made it back. No, okay. I just wanted to make sure that if she did make it back, okay. It can require states to withdraw maps. It can enforce the shifts. It may limit or expand the Department of Justice's ability to bring Section 2 and Section 5 actions and influence private plaintiff success. So the Section 2 and Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act is going to be affected by this ruling. Policy and law changes at states level. States may pass new voting rules or reverse prior changes in response to this decision. Hold on. Let me see. Okay. I just want to make sure that she's not trying to get. Okay. So that's why I want to make sure. Policy and law changes at state level. States may pass new voting rules or reverse prior changes in response to the decision. So we're saying that now the states are going to have control over, to a large extent, of how people will be voting. Now, some people are saying this is good. Some people are saying this is bad, because normally it tends to be bad, because it tends to be whoever is in power tries to eliminate or reduce the people who are not in power from even being able to vote. And that, I'm not saying this is across the board, but it has been known to happen. And that's why the federal government was involved to begin with, to make sure that people's rights were not abused. Next, policy and law changes. I already read that. I'm sorry. Short-term litigation surge. Expect new lawsuits testing the ruling scope and relitigation of previously settled disputes. So this is it opens up a whole new group of lawsuits that are going to come forth. People are not going to just sit back and be abused, and it's like, no, we're going to fight this. Administrative effects. Election of officials may change procedures, training, and outreach to comply or adapt. So now how people are elected can change. The rules can change. There's so much at stake by this one ruling. So, and as I was watching Nicole Hannah Brown, I want to say it's her last name, but she was on and she's saying, we have never seen this, basically at this point, gutting of the Voting Rights Act. That's what this is going on now. Voter access outcomes. Depending on the ruling, voters may see greater obstacles or enhanced protections to casting ballots. Yes, let me say that again. Voter access outcomes. Depending on the ruling, minority voters may see greater obstacles or enhanced protections to casting ballots. And a legislative response. Congress or state legislatures may pursue clarifying or counteracting the legislation. So in other words, now it's like the fight is on. There's so many things at stake that people are like, no, we can't just sit back and not recognize what has happened here, because it's so dramatic that we have to respond to this. It can affect not just this generation, but generations to come. And so that's why that's important. Okay, here we go. And I bet that was Nanette that mentioned about the voting rights. Let me see. Is that you, Nanette? Hold on. Voting, here we go. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 was a landmark decision. We are definitely going to continue to fight this. Come on, Nanette. Nanette is also, She is a super fan, and she's also my fact finder. So Nanette, anything I need fact wise, I just go, Nanette, can you look that up for me? So she does. So thank you. Nice seeing you, Nanette. So I tell you, and this is, here it is. I don't think we thought we'd ever see this. This is what I'm thinking, that we never thought it would come to this, but here we are. But this is also telling you the power of who is in the Supreme Court is so important. It is not something to be taken lightly. That's what it makes. Okay, this is, I didn't see that, Nanette. Here you go. You said, I was extremely upset regarding SCOTUS disregarding the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Nanette, I don't even have the words to say what this means to, is not, and we think it's just about African Americans. It isn't. It is not. I know people say, oh, that's just, was that just for African? No. And if you really think about it, ladies and gentlemen, none of the laws are for just African Americans. They really are not. They're for everyone. They're for everyone to have the ability to, and ability to vote and cast and be a participant in our society, in this democracy. And it is so, and that's, as I've heard people say, that's literally hanging on by a thread. I remember I was in law school years ago, and one of my professors said this. He said that our society is hanging on by a thread. That the laws that we have in our society, because judges have, like the law, listen, I'm gonna give you an example. Like one of the laws was that if you were not married to the person, you could not get, you can get child support, don't get me wrong, but you can't get alimony. And then a judge changed it and gave someone who had been with this gentleman for years, and she got alimony. Because, and remember, let me clarify something here. I am not, say it again, I am not an attorney. I'm not. So I want to make sure I have to preface that first. So what happened was, in California, you can live with someone for 100 years and you're still not considered common law. But if you go to southern states, many southern states, if you live with someone for 7 years, you're considered married. As long as you can show, I think it's like a utility bill together or whatever it is, show that you've been with this person for that long. So if you're in one of those states and you come to California, then you're considered married. I don't know if I made myself clear with that, but you're considered married. So now I lost my train of thought. But anyway, a couple was in California. They were the whole time in California. And they wanted to, and they were not married. And they had been in, I think it was over 10 years. And the judge agreed to have her get alimony, even though she wasn't married to the gentleman. And he said, I remember our professor saying, that's considered a crack. That's considered a crack. Because the minute a judge does that, he now has, or she, doesn't have to be a he, it can be a she, by the way. It's a precedent that they set. So now anybody else who is living with someone in California and they're not married to them, they can come before a judge and say, well, whoever down the street, they did it. So I'm going to go in there and do it too. And I'm going to try and get alimony. So, but the professor said, if that judge had just followed the letter of the law, then no one else can come forth and say that. But because the woman touched the judge's heart, not the law, now that became a way some people can get alimony, I guess. So those kind of, he called them a crack. That's what he said. He goes, there's a crack in the law. And he goes, this is only one. He goes, I'm watching it. He was telling us, he said, and he was a judge. I think he was a judge. I'm pretty sure because many of our professors were judges. And he said, I'm watching these cracks. And unfortunately, what happens when there's a crack, it doesn't get smaller. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm just like, and that's what we are seeing with that ruling. That there was a crack. And now it took a whole nother, it went to a whole nother place, is what I'm trying to say. So keep that in mind. ladies and gentlemen, um, as we are going down a road that is very this unfamiliar, unfamiliar. So what laws are we going by? What are we standing on? What are we as a society going forth with? Because I can't say I know what they are. I don't want to say that because I'm no authority. Let me say that. I'm no authority. Okay. So Jazzy says, it's always good to express yourself and say what's on your mind because the way laws and service change, it makes things in your life hard to handle. Yeah. Yes, Jazzy, it does. Thank you for that. And let's see, I saw another comment. Let's see. And thank you for your comments, Jazzy. Be careful about who you vote for because what they say they're going to do was just a lie so you can vote for them. So if they win. Jazzy, I hate even saying that. I think that's unfortunately what we've seen. I actually heard someone say they regretted voting for the current administration. I was really shocked when they said that. So you realize it was all a lie because nothing changed like they said it will. Yeah. So they said they voted for them because they thought the administration was going to do X, Y, and Z. They found out they didn't tell the truth about it. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I think this happens a lot. More than we know. I think we try to think it's not going to happen at that level because it's our federal level, but it does. It does. Obviously, we're living this. I think the crack in the SCOTUS getting a segment of the Voters' Right Act of 1965 and 2013. Yeah. Yeah, that's what Nanette, thank you for that. And like our professor said, it's not like it doesn't start off huge. It doesn't start that way. But this is why when you have these way to inch in, then you take that and you run with that. Is what can happen or what has happened. So now, but what people have said is that they're not going to just sit down and take this, which is huge. It's huge. It's saying I'm willing to fight for these rights. And the truth is, if they're not willing to fight for them, think about it, we're not willing to fight for them, then who is? Who is, ladies and gentlemen? If we're not willing to fight, if we're not willing to say, maybe you may say, well, how do I fight? What do I do? Maybe you register to vote and you get your family to register. I'll register to vote. And maybe that's your part. But imagine if everybody did that one thing. And you may say, well, I don't know what to do to go register. I can tell you what you do. You can go to the county, or you can go on, just Google it, wherever you are, and say, I would like to know where do I go to register. Now, you can also do it online. I think it's vote.gov. Don't quote me on that. But I'm saying to you, you can register online. You don't have to even go in and register anymore. You can go in and register if you like. I know for the county that we live in, Riverside County, you would go to, I think, to Moreno Valley, and that's where you get the forms and you can register to vote there. But the first thing is to be registered. I have met people that said they don't even know the last time they voted. And I'm like in shock when I hear things like that. I make sure we vote every single election. My husband votes, I vote, because in my opinion, you can't complain about anything if you didn't vote. You can't. How you gonna complain? You didn't vote. You have to participate in what's going on in order to complain about it. Because I always look at it like this: I voted, so I can complain about something because I vote. I did take the time and cast my ballot. And we tend to do ours by mail, but yeah, that's not the only way. You can go and stand in line or not stand in line. Sometimes there's no line either. But you can go vote in person. You don't have to vote by mail. When you vote by mail, at least I'm going to speak for Riverside County, you get a text message back that says your ballot has been received. And we take ours, and even though we vote by mail, we take it in to vote. the register of voters. We take the ballot to we physically take it in, even though we voted at home, and we physically take it there. And they collect them right there. Usually somebody's standing outside to collect your ballot. So just so you know, you can register online. I'm going to say that again so people know. You can Google it, but I think, I'm sitting right here. Let me Google it for you, because I want people to know there's no excuse, in essence. There is no excuse. I'm going to Google it for you. Voting, EOTING. I think it's .gov. I'm not sure. Hold on. It is .gov. And when you go to voting, mine said the siting can't be reached. Let me go back. But I thought it was voting.gov. Voting. Just a minute. .gov. I'm gonna try. I thought it was voting.gov, but yeah, maybe it's the internet. I'm not sure. But mine says if you go to voting.gov, it says it can't be reached right now. So don't quote me, but you can go to try voting.gov. And if that doesn't work, Google voting in your county. California has 58 counties. 58. Georgia has 168, I think. It's over 100 counties. So every county has its own seat of government. Every county does. So just keep that in mind. I don't know. I just know those two. I can't speak for the other ones, but I know those two. But California, 58. Georgia, 168, I think it is. But each one has its own government. So it's not just those are the only two places to vote. I don't want to sound like that, because many of you, as you know, you can be anywhere in the country, but you definitely want to register now. You don't want to wait, because you don't want to go and to vote or get ready to vote, and you have to get a provisional ballot because you were not registered. You can register that day, the day of an election, but you get a provisional ballot. That's what happens when you do that. But if you're registered prior to that, you will get an actual ballot. That's what the difference is. And if you like to vote by mail, they'll mail it to your home, and you can do what we do, take it in. We don't put it in the mail. We take it in. So that's another way you can do it. But I wanted to change gears and talk about this, because this is really important, ladies and gentlemen. You want to be actively involved in what's going on in your communities. And I say actively. I don't mean that you're going to 20 different meetings. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you vote. If you have been in prison, you can still vote, as long as you're not on parole. They're not monitoring you in any type of way. Then you can register and vote. A lot of people don't know that. They think if I've been in prison, I can't vote. That's what it used to be. In Florida, it's still like that. Let me say that. So in some states, it's still like that, but California is not one of those states. Once you are no longer being, have to report to a parole officer, or you're on probation, any of those things, then you can vote. So tell your friends, tell everybody you know, they can still vote. That's really, really important. Don't ever think that's not. Think about all the men and women. I am telling you guys the story that I know I just have a few minutes left with you, but I still want to share this with you. At one time, I registered voters, and it was very fulfilling to me to register people. I can't tell you what that felt like, to have someone that, this is what I've heard more than anything else. I would have registered if I knew where to go to register. I didn't know. I've heard that time and time again. So I was at one home, and the gentleman inside basically told me to get away from the door. That's all he just said. I'm not interested. I don't care what you're talking about. Bye. And I said, okay. I said, do you know I'm just here to help you register? He goes, I don't care. I don't vote. And I'm not trying to vote. And I'm walking away from the door, and I'm actually, another gentleman had pulled up in a truck. And I went over to him and I said, sir, are you registered to vote? He looked at me, and it was almost like, I can't even describe the look in his eyes. He said, no. I think I don't even know if he said no. He just shook his head. And then, so I leaned into him and I said, "Sir, um, do you have a felony?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, and he spoke very little English, by the way. That was interesting. But he said to me then, I said, "Are you on parole?" He said, "No." I said, "Are you on probation?" He said, "No." He's saying the words and shaking his head. I said, I think I said the words that would change his life. Because I said, "Sir, you can vote." He goes, "I can vote. I can vote." I mean, literally, it was like, like the world just opened up to him. He goes, I know everything. That's what he said. I know everything. He said, I read everything. Oh my God, I'm still remember that day. How he reacted to say, "You can vote." He was like, "I didn't know I could." He said, no one ever told me. And I said, "I know. You're like a lot of people. Thousands of people still don't know they can vote. They can vote." Now I'm speaking for California. I can't speak for the other 49 states. I don't even know what their laws are. This is a state law. This is not federal. If you have a felony, as long as you're not on parole, as long as you're not on probation, you can vote. Tell anyone you know that that's the case. They're not aware. They're just not aware. So I'm really, really trying to, best I can. I think I was sending another email out about that and tell people you can vote if you have a felony conviction. As long as you're not on parole, as long as you're not on probation. California law. I better put it up there. California law, because it's not a national law. States have rights. This is what people don't always talk about. In your state, you have the state of California. We live in California. States have rights, but there's different rights for different states. So that's a California law. If you're in California and you have been convicted of a felony, you can still vote as long as you're not on parole or probation. That's a state right. I could go to another state and their law is, if you have a felony, you can't vote. That's just how it is. So just know this is real stuff. But if you don't know, you don't know. If nobody tells you, like I said, that gentleman, it was like I opened up a world to him. And he said it. He goes, "I read everything." The way he was saying, I said, wow. He knew more about what was going on politically because he couldn't vote. Think about that. Because he could not vote, he had studied and learned, and the fact that he wanted to vote so bad and couldn't do it. I see. Is this Miss Nanette? Nanette says, "Ladies and gentlemen, the NAACP has been fighting against the initial gutting of the Voters' Rights Act since 2013 and have been ignored and pushed aside." Wow, Nanette. And we're members of the NAACP. We are members. So just think. Just imagine what could have happened had we all been behind NAACP. Just imagine. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't even know what to say. But the number one thing I would share with all of you today is we have to work together. There's no more working by yourself. Those days are over. We have to work together. Period. And then, Jazzy said she enjoyed the show. Thank you, Jazzy. Enjoy today's show, Auntie, and hope you have a blessed. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are nearing the end of this show. Now, it's not quite over just yet, but I'm going to do a recap of the things that we've got on. This was some important stuff at the end. I mean, not that it wasn't important at the beginning, but I say that because the Voting Rights Act is important because this is going to, it affects all of us. It affects all of us. The travel may or may not, But the Voting Rights Act, yes. Yes. There are people right now drawing up different lines, and they're going to have to be challenged in court. And all of these things are going to go on. But the point is, your support of any of these makes a difference. You can contribute to NAACP. To be a member for the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, that's what NAACP stands for. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. That organization, the membership, you're not going to believe this, is $30 for the year. That's it. That's it. $30 for the year. That's the least expensive organization I belong to, believe it or not. I don't think I have one. That's about it. So for $30, you can support this organization and all their efforts, because everything they're working for is for everybody, not just for African Americans. This was the organization that fought against segregation. And many of you are familiar with Thurgood Marshall. And he was one of the attorneys that fought against segregation on the team that fought for segregation. And then he ended up becoming a Supreme Court justice. So I'm saying this to you so you understand just what has been happening. It has been phenomenal to witness all this, because they fought so hard for these rights and these laws, and they've been dismantled one by one. So we have to make decisions on how we are going to make changes. And he says, this is, hi, Mary, Daryl here. I don't have a passport. Can you share the best way to get one? Thanks. And when you get a chance, I can. Okay. If you go to the wealthtraveltours.com and you sign in, you'll see a link on how you can get a passport, Daryl. And thank you for coming to the show. Thank you for stopping by. I know we have like a couple of minutes. Any questions, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, here we go. Jazzy made a comment. She said, if we work together, things will change for us. I agree, Jazzy. I think that's the key, if you want to know the truth about it, is that we have to work together. So just know that. But yes, I wanted to, but Daryl, yes, go to wealthtraveltours.com, sign in, and there'll be a way for you to get a passport. You fill out the forms. Yeah, it's right there. So welcome to the show. Ladies, gentlemen, I just want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. Today is, what's today? May the 4th? Yeah, the 4th of May. But I just want to thank you for coming out and spending some time with us. I hope you got some value from this. That's the goal. I'm always trying to bring something to you that you may or may not already know. And some people already know it. But this is what I've learned. Nobody knows everything, including me. So there's always something we can learn. Always. Oh, I see. Thank you, Nanette. She said bye to me. And that's so sweet of you. So we are, the show is this is over. I'm sorry. I went too late. But anyway, thank you again. I love each and every one of you. I'll see you in a week. So I'll see you next Monday. Bye, everybody.